Hi, Craig here from YourTech. Today we have an idiot that likes computers and a new keyboard. Epomaker have sent out the HE68 Lite for me to review. Now this is a first for me. This is a keyboard with Hall effect magnetic switches. So it's got adjustable actuation on it. I'm really excited to test this out and see how it works. I don't know how you adjust it. I don't really know anything about the keyboard, but I'm going to unbox it, go through all the documentation and see what it's like. Other than the Hall effect switches, I'm very excited for this keyboard because it's insanely cheap for what it is. So I want to see what kind of quality we're getting for the money. So I'm going to unbox it, we're going to see what it's like, and I shall see you in a minute. Let's unbox it. Plastic cover. Keyboard. So we've got a little baggie with 2 extra switches and some random screws. We've got a very nice braided USB-A to USB-C cable. We've got a little baggie with a screwdriver, a metal plate and some straps. And we have a switch puller and keycap puller. So hopefully this keyboard's hot swappable. And that is everything in the box. On the box, we've got a few different marketing things that they've put on here. We've got a 65% compact layout, Hall effect magnetic switches, adjustable actuations, fast polling and scan rate, and customizable RGB backlight. Ooh. The polling rate is up to 8,000 and that is adjustable. So let's have a look at the keyboard. My God, that is light. That is ridiculously light. Oh my God. Okay, so we have an all plastic body. It's a nice white / off-white. I don't know how well that'll show up on camera because of the studio lights that are in here. And by the looks of it, we've got a little rubber grommet that comes off there. And then you can screw one of these 2 straps in the side. So let's do that now. So you've got a choice of little leather strap or this big fabricy one. I'm not really sure what the point of it is. I imagine this one you could use it, put it around your wrist maybe, though I'm not really sure why. I'm going to attach a little leather one, or a little fake leather one. It's obviously not real leather, but still. So by the looks of it, we screw that to the body, thread these little leather the little straps through, and then we've got these little fasteners to fasten the leather together, fake leather together, so that it stays on. This is very fiddly, especially if you've got fat fingers like I have. Screw them down. Well, that's great. That screw comes pre-stripped. That's nice. I'll fix it to the rescue maybe. Yeah, there we go. So now I've got this little leather accent fidgety thing on the side. Don't know whether it adds to the aesthetic or not. We've got to do the deck flex test. That is quite a lot of deck flex. But it is an all plastic body, so that is to be expected. There's a little bit of bend, there's a little bit of give in the actual plastic itself. It's extremely light. There's not much actual give in the keyboard itself. Like when you press down on it, it's fairly uniform across the whole keyboard. I don't feel like it's bouncing back at me or anything like that. Before I do the typing test and what it sounds like, I'm going to go through the specs a little bit. So it's got all the basic functionality that you would expect. It is wired only though. There is no Bluetooth, no wireless or anything like that. Got up to an 8,000 Hertz polling rate, 5 layers of sound dampening, which has become basically standard across all these custom type keyboards, even though they're not really custom. I've mentioned the Hall effect magnetic switches, and it boasts a really impressive input latency of 0.125 milliseconds. That's what they claim. I don't even know how you would test that, But if that is true, that is an extremely responsive keyboard. The adjustable actuation on this is apparently 0.1 millimeters you can adjust it by. It also boasts a snap key. The RGB is fully customizable and it's got macro functionality as well. My biggest issue with this already is that the instruction book doesn't tell you how you change the actuation on your keys. Guessing it's in the software, but it doesn't tell you. Same with these strap things. It's not mentioned in the documentation, which is a little bit irritating. Like, yeah, it's easy enough to work out, but put it in your manual. Had to shut the window on a 28 degrees Celsius day here in the UK, in this stuffy room with light shining on me, because some knobhead is outside listening to Lady Gaga. Lady Gaga. Put some metal on, be a man. Anyway, so that's nice. It's quite a nice little spec sheet that you've got. It's such a shame none of the documentation tells you anything about it. So I will get the software installed after I've done the sound test and see how much we can play around with and what we can do and see if it's worth it. Sound test, let's have a listen. That's a nice thocky sound. I like that a lot. My only real critique, the space bar sounds a bit hollow. Not too bad. Is it just when it's on the desk? Yeah. It's still a very nice sounding keyboard. I quite like that. Oh, before we carry on, by the way, I know I've already mentioned the price and I'll come on to that a little bit later. 2 extra switches. Love to see stuff like that. That was easy. And let's pull a switch. Jesus Christ, that took some doing. South facing RGB, that's nice. And this is a Hall effect switch. Wow, there's quite a bit of force back on that. And then just pushes back in. Oh, easy enough. Sounds good, impressive spec sheet. Really, really rubbish documentation. Really not happy with that. Looks nice enough. Next step is to get the software installed, get this plugged in, see if it's actually any good. So I'll do that now. And we're back. We have the software installed and I've had a little bit of a play around with it. The software doesn't feel massively polished, but there's a lot of customization in it. So at the minute when you first load it up, everything's in what I would guess is Chinese, and there's a little drop down at the top to choose. It's not massively obvious that the language drop down is there, and it took me quite a while to find it whilst sitting here going, how do I change the language? But figured it and it's absolutely fine. You have got full macro recording in the software. The RGB is per key and completely customizable, which is amazing. You've got loads of other customization options. You can change the actuation of the switches because they're magnetic. So you can basically decide how much resistance you want to feel before it engages the click, which I think is really cool. Personally, I would probably have it on the most sensitive and have it so it's 0.1 millimeters worth of travel before it actuates. If you would prefer to have a longer key press, you can do that, and it seems to work fairly well. You can also set up the snap key functionality, which, as far as I can understand, is if you press 2 keys at the same time, it'll prioritize whatever the last key is. I think this is for like shooting games and to be able to change direction more quickly and more fluidly, but I'm not a competitive gamer. I am not a Twitch shooter of any kind, and it's not functionality I'd be too bothered about. But if you are into that kind of stuff, it's there. You've also got something called dynamic keystroke, which allows you to set 2 functions to 1 key depending on how far you've pressed it. That could be a really interesting thing to do, especially with like walking and running in games. That could be really, really handy. I quite like the feature and the fact that that's a thing. I think that's really cool. And it means technically you can put 4 different functions on 1 key, because you can have a function for half press down, a function for full press down, a function for half press up, and a function for full press up, which is kind of mental. I'm not really sure what the use case you could use for that is, but for walking and running in games, having a half press for walk and a full press for run, that'd be quite cool. Impressive software, powerful software that I wasn't really expecting. I wasn't expecting it to be this feature rich, and it is. And it works flawlessly. Like, you can get over the fact it doesn't look too polished and the language settings. The fact that you can customize so much of it is really, really cool. And I will say, I mean, I'll show some footage of this. This is some of the nicest RGB I've seen on a keyboard. It's proper smooth, like the transition to colors and stuff. RGB on keyboards doesn't usually bother me too much. I usually just set the color and leave it. But if I was using this keyboard daily, I mean, I won't be because it's 65% and I'm not a fan of 65%. But if I was driving this keyboard daily, I would probably consider having some kind of RGB effects on it, because the way that the colors look and the way that they transition from color to color and stuff like that, and how smooth the effects and stuff are, it really is nice looking RGB. It doesn't mean anything for the performance. And moving on to the performance, the typing experience is absolutely fine. It's not the best keyboard I've typed on. It's because of the small form factor, I struggle a little bit with the spacing of the keys, especially with having quite small but fat hands. But the typing experience is fine. It sounds really nice. I do love the sound of it. And the keyboard itself looks phenomenal. It really does look nice. It's a stunning keyboard. It is crystal white. The RGB shining through looks amazing. I've even grown to quite like this weird leather strap thing that's on the side. So that moves us on to the price. Now, I'm very, very impressed with how aggressive the price point is on this, considering it's got magnetic switches that are Hall effect, considering that it's got RGB and it's got so many customizable options. Yeah, it's only wired, but you still get quite a lot of keyboard. And this is at the minute $49.99 US. Converted to Great British pounds, it's around 38 quid. That's a lot of keyboard for 38 pounds or $50. And I'm really impressed. It's an aggressive price point. It's a beautiful looking keyboard. It sounds lovely. The only thing letting it down for me is the form factor, but that is complete personal preference. If you're into 65% keyboards and you've got around £38, 50 quid to spend, this keyboard's lovely and I don't think you'll regret your decision. And there's not much else left to say. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, consider watching one of these two videos that are going to pop up. Subscribe, comment, like, ring that notification bell. Everything that you do helps the channel and we appreciate it. I shall see you on the next one. Bye! You can hear that car outside. I've now got to wait for this idiot to stop playing his music. I'm guessing it's during off.